Hey everybody, today we will be doing a couple of reference studies on skulls, and I think I want this entire week to be on skulls maybe. Sorry, not skulls, but skeletal structure. So that includes skulls, upper body, lower body, as well as hands, feet, just a skeletal structure. So we did a lot of work on like arm anatomy and stuff, but I think like arm anatomy, leg anatomy, etc. But I think it'd be good if we sorry, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I think we just reinforce our understanding of what we've been doing before. I've seen people draw skulls differently, just like I've seen people draw anything differently. Like in this one, right. This. The shape, right? And I think I drew it too bad. Some right here. This is a kind of an interesting shape, I'll say. Something like this, maybe. Okay. It's kind of like the Loomis method. For the eyes. The eye sockets are pretty big, like so. Make sure this part is protruded. It sinks back in. Cheekbones are very prominent. Then you have the face like so, and then the chin. Then you're gonna have this kind of let's see, the arrowhead structure almost like so. And I think it will split it up as well, really depending on the angle. Right. And then one thing that should never be forgotten is the side. So yeah, I drew this one a bit flat, so I'm gonna increase the curvature a bit, like so. Right, this one could be a lot eye socket can be a bit closer together. There's kind of dip here. That's fine actually. This angle is a bit off. I'm just a bit not used to this kind of angle. So, and then kind of fill in the details. Can I have the deep? Right, you can see. Let me count how many there are. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. How about that? Yeah, one like this, and you can always fill in the details, like adding the things such as this, right? Like this, I think. Let's see what this says. And that's a full score. So I gotta get some tissue paper. My nose is a bit running. interesting. Consider this part the chin and the jaw. And it's almost like a hinge joint where it's connected to this part of the skull. It's a bit forward, I think, compared to the ear. I think the ear is normally here, so it's a bit forward. Actually, no, I think this is exactly the spot where the ear is. If you feel your the side of your ear leading down to your jaw, you can actually feel it, just like the ear placement. So that's something pretty interesting to know. Yeah, I was just using that for reference there. Sure. Here is something interesting. Sorry. My nose is absolutely killing me. I think I want into the pixel. Into the pixel. As always, it's tilted. So I think it has to be somewhere here. Yeah. So the eye socket is normally much closer together compared to the eye rule. So those that don't know the rule of the eye, it's essentially that okay. So like this maybe. I'm gonna mark the nose area first, maybe like so. This maybe. It's gonna come to like so. Right, making all of this cheek. Wow, okay, that's pretty good. Just to slow down more. Just to slow down more. Like so. And use the detail on the cranium on the side. Delete some of these guidelines. Okay. And then the lower jaw bone. This is palm already. I do want the eyes to be slightly bigger. Make this part more visible, like so. And then I have the teeth. So I think it looks a bit weird. Yeah, it looks almost like a person, more than a skeleton. I want to overlay this and see what I got wrong, but before that, I think I know how to fix it just a tiny bit. Move this up, like so. I think this part looks a bit off. So draw this ridge here, kind of connecting. I think the skull should be more rounded. I'll put this on side for now. I want to bring something. I want to bring up the reference for comparison. So I already see a bit of a problem here. The eye sockets look fine. It is a bit misaligned, so a bit of this portion to be like so. Jaw should be more smooth this way. so I think I got almost all of the more major features. But this head itself is more. I think that's it. I do prefer looking a bit more rounded like so. Mostly just because the side looks a bit off. So I think and then you can maybe fix the eye socket a bit. Okay. Funny thing is, I feel like I'm still making the thing look way too human-like. So like so. after about that, I was discussing some rewards for the challenges. So we already have our first batch of challenge winners from our month-long challenge, and there's 4 of them, including me. And the original proposal was to have it to basically be only natural basic, but after buying it myself, I just don't feel like there's too many benefits. So compared to the classic plan, so I'm just a bit not too sure if I want to stick to like it should be something like this maybe. The shape of the eye sockets sometimes gets me a bit. I think this should be more flat like so. I think I should work with more straight edges. Like so, like so. I want this closer actually. It should be less than an eye's length apart. Let's see. I want this kind of straight edge coming down maybe. To come down like a ways here. So this part coming around the eye socket like so. This kind of I need a bigger curve for this to go back. A bit like so. Just kind of like the brownish like so. I made a mistake here, but there should be more like so. Like this, but I feel like the mouth is a bit low. Okay. Oh, like so. This kind of looks really weird, if I'm gonna be honest. Check the overlay. So, I already see some problems here, especially with this one. This is the best size. Now this is a bit too much. Now I need to shrink this entire pole. basically kind of. And of course, for this part, I think it should protrude out a lot more, like so. And then I want to make this I think I just like messed up the whole thing, kind of. Because I don't think my nose placement was good enough to begin with, maybe. I'm gonna take a quick break, but I will be back. I need to stretch out my legs, so see ya. Hello, I'm back. And let's continue. I'm not gonna use this, but I really like the visual on this for the boxes. Um, I think, at least for me, the point of this art challenge is to have a pretty regimented schedule and what I want to draw each week, and try to get as many like broad visual libraries as I can for drawing practice reasons, right? Because I think in the end it's all about visual library and muscle memory, and there's nothing else to drawing. Right? Muscle memory is basically just how you draw something, right? Um, could be the way you draw shapes, could be the way you draw just I'm connecting to my AirPods, gonna play some music for myself. Yeah. Hello? Okay. I think this should work. Right. So I think when I connected to my AirPods, everything got messed up. I think it should be fine now. As I was saying, okay, well, I guess all of my commentary I've been giving are gone now, but that's alright. Yeah, so first thing I noticed, this part is a bit small. Let's make this part bigger. Nope, not the guide. I don't know what the guide is. Let's make this part just bigger. Like so. I'm gonna turn up the temperature. This is a bit big. I'm gonna make this smaller. That's really bigger actually. sound maybe. I think I already know what the issue is this time. So for this one, this side is a bit big. And this should always be lower. I think keep drawing it too high. And it should be flatter near the top. This is too wide. I always want to use this point, the point that comes in, as a reference. a small string comes and this is a straight line. Cheekbones, make these prominent. Let's make this part too high for some reason. definitely wrong. So for this one, the head isn't big enough. I think that's the only problem actually. Yeah, I was showing the mouth a bit too big. I think side views are a lot easier. At least for me. You know, most of the shape down. Yeah, this cranium actually looks kind of funky. It's just so long. Um, one thing I do like working on, especially, is like forward, slight 3/4 angle and side view angle for anything, because I think those are the most drawn scenarios, and it's very rare that you draw other scenarios, except when you're doing like some kind of really dynamic piece. Oops. Go again. Sorry, switching music. I think instead of just talking about art all the time, it'd be interesting just to talk about myself a bit sometime. So, I am a college student. I'm actually in my 4th year of college. So, I'm actually not like an art major or anything. I'm actually an engineering major. I never had much experience in art. I did join a Windows Art Club thingy when I was younger, but I never really learned how to draw. Until my last year of high school in the summer of my last year of high school. That was still during a COVID time, if I remember correctly. I don't know. It's weird. I think how I came to kind of know art in a way. I used to, as I mentioned before, I used to play Roblox a lot. But at the same time, I was kind of really depressed for a long time, and I just didn't know what I wanted to do at all. With my life, I don't have any friends. Well, I did have friends, but my best friend at the time moved back to China, and he couldn't come back to the US because of COVID restrictions. So for the whole time, I was pretty much just by myself. It's kind of really lonely. I just didn't know what to do. With my life at all. When I had virtual classes, I just always pass the time playing Minecraft. And I used to play a Roblox game, but it was really toxic, so that led to me having a breakdown. And later on, my health deteriorated to the point where I was hospitalized. And when I came back from the hospital, I just quit cold turkey. I didn't play any more games. I just stopped. I started going out more instead of just staying in my room all the time. That became so normal for me that I basically became a shut-in at that point. I think that was everybody during COVID. And some people had it particularly bad. I wouldn't say I had it the worst, but for me it was one of the most disgusting times of my life. I remember every single day I would either just be playing Minecraft, or watching webtoons, or just being unproductive. I don't think that changed at all until I started until I played that one Roblox game. It was called Free Draw. a lot of kids want the game. At that time, I was still a kid. I was 17. Actually, I think I just turned 17, or I was turning 18 at the time. I don't know. But I was just drawing, and I saw this really, really, really beautiful drawing, and I was so amazed by it that I just wanted to like, just basically wanted to draw like them. Like wow, this is the most beautiful thing I've seen. And they drew like it was the original character, but it was so hauntingly beautiful that I still remember it to this day. And yeah, I did friend them, with via like a in-game friend request, and I was pretty happy for a while. Like every day I would hop on, I would draw, and she would help me down with the fundamentals. And honestly, that was one of my most happy moments of my life at that time. And then after that summer, that was my senior year in high school. I went to college after a while. I was very productive in my first year of college. Well, I'm still in college actually. If you couldn't tell. I made a lot more friends than I ever did in my years in high school. It was kind of my peak. Although I never went to specific parties or anything like that. I just had a lot of fun. Just chilling with friends, talking about engineering stuff, math stuff. But at that time, I was totally like geeked out, well, nerded out, and I was maybe at my academic peak, if I'm being honest. My first and second year, even though I was just a freshman, the amount of knowledge I gained in my first and second year were astounding, even compared to now, my third year, where I've kind of devolved, and I'll talk a little about what I mean by that. So my first year was marked by proactivity. I joined an art club. I went to it once and never went again because I had too much stuff going on. That was kind of sad, not gonna lie. I do want to reconnect with them sometime, even though I don't really know them. But yeah. So that was basically like my first year, and then my second year. What happened in my second year? I started picking up more work. And to talk about classes, first year they were mostly introductory. I took calculus classes. Yeah, and all of that. Yeah, I even took multivariable calculus, which I already took in high school in my spring semester, and I was taking ME 270, my first design class, as well as ME 170. Oh wait, I shouldn't be dropping numbers. Sorry, that was wrong with me. I was taking classes. I was taking classes basically. Basically for my requirements. So I was almost like a theoretical mechanical engineer. It's like a branch in my university. It is considered one of the hardest ones. Not to brag, but it's one of the reasons that led to my later breakdown, that I've yet to explain. So in our university, in our mechanical engineering and science department, we have two majors. One is pure mechanical engineering, and one is mechanical sciences, or something like that. It's more like theories of mechanical mechanics and dynamics, some things like that. Yeah. And for me, I was doing great until my third year. So my second year, I took like physics class. No, actually, I finished my physics classes my first year and leading to my second and fall. I finished my math classes my sophomore year, and I was basically just finishing up my classes really quickly. Right. Um, I was ahead, um, or I was on par with all of my classmates, which did not happen in high school. In high school, I was basically a horrible student at the time. Um, but this looks pretty good. Um, yeah, my dimensions are a bit off here. Just let me fix this a bit. Then I'll get back to my story. Um, so all throughout basically my first and second year, I was on my high hopes basically, because I was doing exceptionally well in all my classes, but I also had really high expectations, so my GPA was always like a 3.9, somewhere around that, or even higher. I remember, of course, I wasn't the best, but in high school, I had a GPA of 3.45, which is below even the 3.5 threshold for like a B, I think. And that high school really crushed me. I went to a private high school, so in the end, I did really well my first year, and my second year I was looking very solid as well. I was taking harder classes, and I was excelling in all of them, and 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 everything fell apart my third year. And basically, I went to hell and back. I was taking, my courseload was too heavy. I was taking multiple graduate level classes, basically. I was excelling in two of them, or three of them actually, but the one that broke me down was behavior of materials. It was not a course even in my major, but I was required to take it nonetheless, and I got destroyed. Because it's just that I was being a TA at the same time for a class, and that itself didn't really do anything to that thing was actually being a TA or a CA for class actually helped me. It's almost like a stress relief because I was getting paid while working. Pretty easy jobs, right? But the materials class absolutely destroyed me. I was forced to write lab reports every single day. There were multiple pages as well, and I was just crushed by the workload. There wasn't anything, it wasn't remotely close to anything I've done in my recent years at all. Sure, I've had to do a lot of homework, but that was an amount I've never ever experienced before, and it broke down a lot of people I know. Right, not only me, but I took it. I took the brunt of the damage compared to myself. Couple years ago, right? A couple years ago, I had a couple bad grades, and it didn't really affect me. But this one, what broke me wasn't the bad grades, but the lifestyle I was living. Right? I was living a disgusting lifestyle where every waking second I was working, and every second I wasn't working I was sleeping, eating, showering, pooping, peeing, then working, and it was just non-stop every single day, every waking minute, doing a lab report that I didn't want to do. Right. It broke me. And I didn't want to do it, but I just kept doing it. I didn't take a single break. But every single day, just non-stop working, and I broke. Right? There was nothing I can do, right? And so in the end, what happened? Right? Where am I going with this story? I broke down. I couldn't do anymore, so So I started becoming depressed. I stopped going out. I don't really go out that much, but I completely stopped going out. Um, in the end, I did get a B in the class. I didn't completely fail it. It was the first B I ever had, and it wasn't. As I said again, it wasn't about the grades that destroyed me. It was this disgusting lifestyle. But I realized that the things I was doing wasn't things I was interested in. It had no it didn't help me in my future endeavors at all. I wasn't interested in this area at all. I was interested mostly in fluid mechanics, not in how concrete is made. Even though concrete does have water in it, but it doesn't help me at all. So so I became a shut-in. Stopped going out. Stopped talking to my roommates. Stopped talking to friends. But and it was an overwhelming sense of loneliness, right? A lot of my friends were busy at the time as well. They were busy with life. So I had only a couple of friends to vent to. But on the days I didn't have anybody to vent to, it was just this kind of eerie silence. And my parents did not care at all. Right? I called them. I would cry my heart out. But at the end, they didn't do anything about it. Right? And I started spiraling really badly. I kept drinking energy drinks nonstop. I would go through multiple cans a day. I was hoping I would just kill myself. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a bit depressing. I'm sorry, but I just didn't feel like waking up anymore. I just kept walking. I would get a heart attack from the way I was working myself to death. And yeah. So in the end, when I did get my grades, well, my grades were actually postponed, but when I came home, I was depressed. I didn't really talk that much. I was really quiet all the time. And they tricked me into thinking that I did get an A in the class, right? But then they retracted the grade and said I actually got a B, which is a full letter worse than what I had assumed. So they got my hopes up for nothing while also destroying me over the semester. Right. So I was basically done with the class, right? But that feeling just never left me. That painful feeling just never left at all. Never did. That feeling of loneliness, that feeling of incompetence, that feeling of working myself to death with nothing to gain at all. It was really painful. And I started so I came home and I took a break. Then I started my third year, my fall semester, my third year. I took a lot of classes, but that painful feeling just never went away. I was in perpetual emotional distress. I was sad, I was angry, I was frustrated, and most of all, I just wanted every day to be my last day. Just didn't want to deal with it anymore. Having that feeling that nobody cared about you, right? I had probably only one real friend who cared about me at that point, and he wasn't available all the time because he was really busy. So sometimes I really appreciate him for standing with me all this time. Without him, I don't think I have two friends I want to attribute my falling out of my depression to. So I was at my lowest point, I think, in all my years. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life anymore. I was thinking I either had to go to industry or get a PhD, both of which were options I was not satisfied with. Right. see any value in what I was doing anymore. I thought I wasted my life away. I thought I hated engineering, and I still kind of do. And it's kind of like a love-hate relationship, but more so hatred than anything else. So I talked to my friends. I talked to my parents. There were moments where I was briefly happy. Well, I thought I briefly crawled out of my depression, my sinkhole, but those moments never lasted. It would take me only a couple days or maybe a week, and then I would be back, feeling miserable about this life I've lived, about the choices I've chosen, and I would have so many regrets during that time. And even now, I sometimes think about my life choices, like, why did I decide I wanted to go to the school in the first place? Why did I wanted to choose this major, right? And I had a lot of personal hatred built up against the people close to me. Right. I blamed a lot of people for my own fallacies, and in part, it was kind of true. I never got to decide what colleges I wanted to apply to. I never got to decide what major I wanted to go into. Right. The college I was accepted into was not what my parents even wanted me to apply to. It was a last-minute choice, and when I was applying to colleges, I got rejected by every single one except maybe two that I had chosen myself, and waitlisted by the other ones. So to this day, that's still something that I'll never forgive them for. In a way, I do feel like that was something that started me derailing, started my life going down to a spiral, even though I didn't know it at the time. Even though my first and second year was filled with happiness, I didn't realize nobody had ever told me that I would experience such emotions. Nobody would ever tell me that I'll be confined into a single room, a dimly lit room, by myself every single day for the last 3 months. Forced to do manual calculations, writing lab reports that nobody will ever read. Right? Nobody told me any of that. Right? And my dad did go to college, but he never told me it would be like this, right? Maybe it's just because I actually studied and he didn't. So I still have a grudge against my parents for that. Even though they've given me the means to succeed, they never let me choose how I would go about it, and that was ultimately what led to my failure. It was very stereotypical of Asian families, right? They were never harsh on me as a kid. So I appreciate them for that. But they expected me to get into every single college I applied to. I don't know why they did. I did get a 34 on my ACT, but it was nothing It's not very serious, right? I wasn't involved in any extracurriculars except my robotics club, and since it was COVID, we didn't even go to states, so I was bummed out about that. But I didn't have any AP classes, any good AP classes, so there was nothing for me to contend with other people, other Asians or other college applicants who were at the same level as me. Right, I don't have a lot of AP scores to show for it. And I told them repeatedly, kept telling them over and over and over again, like a broken radio, in my high school year that these colleges were impossible, like MIT, Stanford. How the hell am I supposed to get into any of them if I didn't even have the prerequisite? So I kept telling them, but they never listened to me. Told me to apply to CS for every single one, even though CS wasn't my forte. But in the end, I didn't even get accepted into CS by any single one of them. If it was not for my college counselor telling me to apply to other safeties or target schools, I would be at my state university. And honestly, sometimes I kind of do wish I can go back in time and just not interfere at all, not even choose what school I wanted to apply to for safeties, so my parents would see that the decision was utterly horrible, right? Almost like spite. And that's, and I don't want to dig too much into my parents at all. My parents are people too, and I understand that people make mistakes. We all make mistakes, but I think it's deplorable that you would never listen to somebody who has more insight into knowing what to apply to, right? Thinking that you know more than me just because you have seniority, right? That's pathetic. I hate people who do that type of stuff. Right. In the end, everything I said did come true, right? I told them I wouldn't get accepted into any one of them. They never listened, and there I was. While all my other friends, they get into better schools than me because they were more prepared. I wasn't prepared at all. I knew I wasn't prepared, so I wanted to apply to easier schools because I knew at the end of the day, what matters in education is not the school itself. The school itself does matter, but what matters most is you yourself. I believe any student from any community college can be a kid, in terms of expertise in a single field, from MIT, if they are truly a much harder working person, right? In the end, it isn't about just genius or talent, and I myself don't believe in talent, but it's more so how you apply yourself, right? And I didn't really apply myself that well, but I was a good student, but I was by far not the best. I knew how to study, but I never studied in high school, so I didn't have that foundation. And it took me a while to learn how to take actual good notes. compared to my peers who were already top of their school respectively, and they already knew. Um, they kind of knew just how to go into that college field, right? So in my original story, about what happened in my third year, um, nobody fixed me. I fixed myself. Talking to people didn't help me at all. Like listening to their success stories of getting internships, of them getting better at doing something they love, but I hated it. Right? To me, there was no intrinsic value in money. Right? I know that's not right for a lot of people, but for me, I knew my life was set up for success. Right? I went to a good school. I excelled in my studies. I could either choose to go into industry, and work out the rest of my life as a corporate slave. That would be fine. I could pay for myself and my parents' expenses after they retire. Or I could work as a professor and also work as a academic slave for basically my entire life, which is also fine. Um, Nothing wrong with that, but um, but I wasn't satisfied with my life. I felt like everybody was doing something that they were passionate about, and I'd lost that passion. Um, I lost that passion a while ago. A while ago, as in almost 3 months ago. I didn't even know what I was doing anymore. I was taking classes that I thought I would have enjoyed as a freshman, but now taking it didn't bring me an ounce of joy. Right? Learning new knowledge for me wasn't as fun as before. It was painful. It was painful every single day. Listening to other success stories while I suffered alone in silence. While everybody else went forward in life, I was the only one that was being left behind. I was dealt with a hand most favorable, yet I was the only one that felt like my world was collapsing on me. But I still had a very high GPA, about 3.89 maybe. Still good enough for a PhD at most schools, but at almost every school maybe. Still good enough for financial assistance. But I was on financial aid from the school and from the state. But it wasn't it wasn't enough for me. Like I wanted more than that. I wanted a life where I could be happy, and I'm one of the people that like to predict what kind of life I would live in the future, because I think I understand myself very well as a human being. And every time I try to predict my scenario based on best predictable outcomes and favorable luck, all I saw was sadness and depression. Right? I could become an esteemed professor at a elite university. Right? I could have my like I work at a company for multiple years and rise up to a very high position, and I still wouldn't be happy. But, at that point, I just didn't even know what would make me happy anymore. Um, and now I've recovered myself a bit. But I'm still not fully recovered, right? I'm doing my best. Some days I'll feel utterly defeated, right? I'll feel like the world was utterly collapsing on me, and I'm not the kind of person that has these thoughts often. It never even occurred to me to have these thoughts until my third year. So it's a surprise to me, my first time when I had these thoughts. But these thoughts didn't just come about in one day. They steadily built up steam over time until it just became unbearable. And and now I think I've at least rekindled some of my love for learning. There was a point where I was so disgusted by anything related to engineering or school that I would not even go on social media anymore, YouTube, any of that, because I knew there would be scientific or educational videos waiting for me, and I just couldn't stomach any of that any further. I don't think my life is sad. I think it's just circumstances that happened without that I never predicted that made me so miserable. I don't know how to vent my anger. I only talk to my friends and I will cry. No, I don't call my friends. I just text them, but I'll cry when I talk to my parents. It was breakdown after breakdown. I would call maybe twice a week, and all I would do was just cry. some days I would text them saying, "Oh, I feel really great. I think I'm out of my depression phase. I think I can go back normally." And then they say that's great. And I feel happy, they feel happy, and then a couple of days go by and I'm in the same pathetic state once again. It's not something I voluntarily want to feel, right? I don't think anybody wants to feel that way. I don't think, if people are watching this in the future, I don't think it's a good idea to talk about my life that much. There's nothing interesting. Everybody has their stories. And if 2 million people watching the future, well, I might just remove it. But I'm only seeing this now because there's nobody watching. And I'm fine with that, honestly. The reason why I started this art challenge and why I started streaming was because it was a passion of mine. And maybe something I want to do in the future. And I've come to the idea that I don't really need to limit myself. I don't need to only do freelance work, or I don't only need to do a professional white collar job. I could be flexible with myself and do both of them at once. So that's something that helped me kind of break out of my desperation, kind of my state of, because I was so indecisive in what I wanted to do with my life. I thought I was just doomed, because I thought I had to do something that I didn't want to do for the rest of my life. I'm not saying that I don't want to do engineering for the rest of my life. It's just that sometimes it's just very dry. Working in a lab is fun, but doing that every day for the next 5 years, I think, for my PhD, that would be pretty rough. This code is pretty interesting. This is clearly some kind of carnivore human. Maybe if humans only ate meat, or if this was some kind of vampire. The skull is always like very elongated. That's something I've noticed. And the nose is always caved in, especially near the nostrils, right? Just a lot of bones here. You can kind of do the outline of the teeth. Delete this side. To do general outlines for the teeth. So, yeah, that's fine. So, of course, it looks so much better when I trace it. So, for some kids, let's start with the nose feature first. Let's try this for the side, for the for the cranium, and then I draw this, the jaw, make it more pointy, like so. Hello, Uchikoi. Yeah, scary skeletons. Maybe I'll do more straight lines, maybe. So, there's a lot of small ridges on the head that I'm not gonna bother with. I think it's probably more important to get the details. Right. This will be the top half, and of course, bottom half. I think straight line edges are pretty good, like so, and just kind of squiggly lines for the bottom, right? Sound like so, right? I always like using the nose as a kind of placeholder, right? And also kind of separate this on the inside. Kind of spirals in, so you kind of see the spiraling effect. Kind of like you can probably do like a zigzag shape for the. It doesn't really matter unless, like, I think the most important part is getting the big fangs, but I think those are really important for for marking the oval feel to the face. You can always add these little parts. It's very simple. Right? left side a bit different. And I think I'm done with these studies. We spent a lot more time just doing these ones because I did these ones without really tracing. I only did the tracing to fix it up a bit. We spent like a good portion on these, and then we did the tracing studies on these for the muscle memory practice. So I think it's good in the future if I do some here, some tracing studies for muscle memory, and then some reference studies like here, draw along for my visual library. This way I can work on both my both libraries at once, and I think that's really the foundation of art, just building up visual and muscle memory. So yeah, I think that's good for today. I'm gonna call it here. I have no more reference material. That's all of them. Right, and I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna save it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and catch you guys next time. Goodbye.